Brad Sherman is a Democrat representing California's 30th district, and during a recent town hall, an activist named Lauren Steiner showed up to this event, and she wanted to ask him why he hasn't co-sponsored H.R. 676, which, as you all know, is a single-payer healthcare bill that more than half of House Democrats have supported, excluding Brad Sherman. So before this event began, she approached him, and you could tell that he didn't want anything to do with her.
No.
You're going to love this question.
I don't care about my office. I got to prepare for this. I got 500
Real quickly, will you post
Just get this last one.
co-sponsor John Conyers' single-payer bill? That's it.
I will address that if it comes up.
So to me, that was incredibly rude. He clearly tried to brush her off. He didn't want anything to do with her. He was short with her, and she tried to ask him the question anyway. He refused to answer. But later on during the event, to Brad Sherman's dismay, well, according to my understanding, they were doing a lottery to determine who would be able to ask questions to him, and Lauren Steiner, or someone from her group, got chosen. So she got to actually ask the question, but this time it wasn't just in front of a couple of people. She asked him this question in front of 500 people, and this was his response.
Will you stop Russia baiting and focus on issues that concern the American people, like affordable health care? And will you please co-sponsor John Conyers' single-payer Medicare for all bill, like 50% of Democrats in Congress have, and the vast majority of California Democratic Congress members have?
Thank you. Great question.
58% of Americans and 80% of Democrats want single-payer.
I think we're going to get single-payer. And I think when we do, I think it will work well. But right now, I've got the entire Republican caucus chanting, repeal and replace Obamacare. I am not anxious to be quoted as and every point at me and say he wants to repeal and replace Obamacare. I want to build. I will have to check with some of my colleagues on this. I think the next step is a public option. That is the next step, and that's where we should have gone in 2008 and 2009 and 2010. As a practical matter, the Republican-led Congress is not going to adopt single-payer this year. What we need is tactics that at least prevent Trump from taking 24 million people off the rolls. And that every single Democrat stood firm, voted against their effort to repeal and replace.
So let me just say that I absolutely love Lauren Steiner. Shout out to her if she's watching this video, because she is constantly putting pressure on politicians, and whenever she shows up to these town hall events, she comes armed with the facts, and she doesn't let them evade the question and obfuscate and lie. Now, when she asked whether or not he'd co-sponsor John Conyers' single-payer bill, the room applauded, which isn't surprising seeing that more than 70% of Democrats support single-payer, but of course, he gave the same tired answer that all Democrats continue to use. We can't focus on single-payer because of Trump care and the Republicans, they want to repeal the Affordable Care Act, and yada yada yada. Look, I'm sick of hearing this same excuse. It's tiring. We're tired of this excuse. It doesn't resonate with us when one Democrat says it, and it's not becoming more persuasive as you all continue to use this same tired excuse. Come up with something new. Actually tell us why you won't support single payer. And look, I'm not alone here. Lauren Steiner, she's been to a ton of these town hall events, and clearly she's also sick of it, as were the people in the room. So she followed up, and other people decided to ask him again, why haven't you co-sponsored H.R. 676?
Democrats need to be more affirmative, more aggressive. And so I'm wondering why I understand that you are not a co-sponsor of H.R. 676, healthcare for all, Medicare for all.
Whether you would be co-sponsoring H.R. 242, allowing Medicare to negotiate drug prices.
Absolutely. I am co-sponsor of a bill that would do just that. And absolutely on any public option entity negotiating the prices. As to single payer, my thinking on that is tactical. What's the best way to get there? And if I become convinced that the best way to get there is to co-sponsor a bill now, I see a sign back there. I don't want to see all the signs, but one says ACA, fix it, don't nix it. And for now, that seems to be the better tactic.
It's not exclusive.
If we were to have single payer, that would be a replacement for, and some would say a improvement in pricing for Obamacare. And I think we will eventually get there. What is the right tactic to get there at a time when it's also the Republicans who are saying, get rid of Obamacare, is something I need to apprise, talking to some of my colleagues and seeing what is the best tactic. But I will tell you this, no tactic is going to get us there in the next 12 months. Right now, we're on defense, fighting to keep the Republicans from taking 24 million people out of health care.
So absolutely nothing he said there is substantive. He said nothing meaningful to progressives. And he keeps saying how sure he is that we'll get a single-payer system one day, yet he is acting as an obstacle to single-payer. We can't get a single-payer system if Democrats are too afraid to stand up and support a bill that would move us closer to single-payer. So my question is, are you too much of a coward to co-sponsor HR 676? Or is it the case that the $21,000 you took from health industry super PACs influenced your decision at all, Brad? So you know the drill. We're going to call him up and ask him. His number is 202-225-5911.
Thank you for calling the office of Congressman Brad Sherman in Washington, D.C. If you're trying to reach our office in Sherman Oaks, please dial 818-501-9200, or you can leave a brief message after the tone. For press inquiries, you can reach our communications director, Shane Seaver, at 202-740-0994. Thank you.
Record your message after the tone. When you've finished, you can hang up or press 1 for more options.
Hello, Brad Sherman. My name is Mike Figueredo, and I noticed that on Bill HR 676, you are one of the few Democrats that has not co-sponsored this bill. Now, as you know, HR 676 would make single-payer healthcare a reality in America. So I'm wondering if the $21,000 that you took from health industry super PACs had any influence on your decision. Are you too afraid to co-sponsor HR 676 because you're unwilling to take a stand? Or is it that you've been bought off by health industry PACs? Now, I know that you're currently preoccupied with trying to impeach Donald Trump, but regardless if that effort will be successful or not, people across the country will still be dying due to a lack of health insurance because of spineless Democrats such as yourself who refuse to take a stand for a bill that would literally save lives. So I am asking if you are not co-sponsoring HR 676 because you're corrupt and been bought off, and if that's not the case, then prove me wrong. Co-sponsor HR 676. You simply sign your name on the bill. It will take no more than 10 seconds, and you can prove to progressives and the country that you're on the right side of history, because simply defending the Affordable Care Act is not enough. That left millions of people out. We still need healthcare for everyone because it's a basic human right. So which side are you on? The side of your health industry donors or on the side of the American people? Actually take a stand for once, Brad Sherman, because you're not brave challenging Donald Trump. What makes you brave is challenging your donors. who tried to buy you off, and it seems as though they successfully bought you off. Take a stand, have a spine, and co-sponsor HR 676. Thank you. So we need to make sure that we call, and we keep calling, and we keep the pressure on these corporate Democrats, because we can't stop until they all fall, and putting pressure on them is the way to do it. So give them a call. Again, 202-225-5911. That's his Washington, D.C. office, and tell him to co-sponsor HR 676.
Support this podcast by joining the independent progressive media revolution today at humanistreport.com.